Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology. And one question that I got a few times in the past couple of weeks is about why Microsoft has new versions of Windows. And is it really necessary to do so? This question has multiple reasons and multiple answers. And also, that is different from what we had in the past. And here's the thing. In the past, up to Windows 8, what happened is that Windows needed to have a new version eventually because its technology and the way that it was designed was made for it to, at some point, not being capable of running some newer technologies. You could add layer over layer, and that's what they did actually with Windows XP, for example, adding a layer when they actually went to the extent of having a Service Pack 3. But it reached its limit. You can't add layers over layers because at some point the system becomes way too complex to operate properly. And there's a lot of technologies that require new written code that might not be compatible with existing code, and that means you're breaking something. If you want to update that, you're going to break a lot of stuff. And so the reason to, the way to fix that is to let's just create from scratch another operating system that takes into account the newer technologies that are available. So, from Windows 1 to Windows 8, what happened was that is at some point you need a new system because that system can't cope with all the new technologies coming. And you can't just, like I said, patch and add layers all the time. So what happens is that you have a new system. And of course, Microsoft Windows was always like that. And, it also added into another dimension is that not only did it add a new system, but it also promoted in some way the fact that, new hardware might be available. And you might want to buy a new computer because that's the way the majority of people get a new version of Windows is buy a new computer. And so it would also help the industry in selling PCs. So all of that was kind of, mixed together. Is Microsoft Windows making a new Windows version pushes the PC industry in selling new computers. And that game was going on and always went on. And it's still going on today, actually. So what happens is that Windows 10 arrived, and Windows 10 changed in a way, and that's when they invented and they called it Windows as a Service. That changed everything. Windows as a Service now meant that every time you get a new version, it's actually, or a new feature update as they call it, it's actually a new version of Windows completely that has the newer technologies implemented in it. And every time that feature update would get there, you'd have actually a reinstall of Windows on your PC in the background. So they could bring the new technologies without adding layers. They could just modify parts of the system, something that was not possible before. Now, their past systems, yes, you needed to have a new version of Windows at some point. You had to do it. But today, it's different. And Windows 10 was good enough that they did not technically have to go to Windows 11. They did not have to do a new system. Because Windows 10, in its way of updating, is capable of having, like I said, the new technologies because it's a Windows as a Service. So that's where Windows 11 becomes a system that they didn't really have to go there, but they did. And they did because of multiple factors. Once again, create a hype around Windows a little more. But in this case, obvious, and it's very obvious in the way they did it, the minimum requirement. Trying to do not only I want to have a new system, but I want to also have a new, a minimum requirement that might help PC makers sell new computers. But obviously, Windows 11 is not something that was absolutely required. They simply went forward and did it. and did it pretty much at the last minute. It's kind of a last minute decision that, oh, let's go there because of the failure of Windows 10 X. So yes, in the past it was something that you needed to have, a new version of Windows, but today with Windows as a service, it's not as obvious that you really need new versions of Windows. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.